For the people who have been in the digital currency world for quite a while, obviously, you are now acquainted with this crypto resource. Rune is the local badge of the decentralized trade network Thorchain. Since its end-off, Thorchain Rune has become one of the most significant digital currencies, which figured out how to give a ROI of 19,003.23% on 10 January 2022. Anyway, what are Thorchain Rune coin cost forecasts from 2022 to 2030? We should figure out in this video. Rune news and updates. Thorchain overhauled local Rune to help BNB.Rune and ETH.Rune. Thorchain sent off mainnet and fixed a few bugs. Thus, Rune use could increment soon. What is Thorchain Rune? Thorchain Rune is a decentralized liquidity convention based on top of Tendermint and Cosmos, where it permits clients to handily exchange crypto resources across numerous organizations in a non-custodial way. The Thorchain network is upheld by the local utility token, Rune, which serves four significant capabilities as follows. 1. Liquidity. The Rune token fills in as the essential settlement layer for all exchanges. 2. Security. Rune gets Thorchain network by giving Sybil opposition. Sybil opposition alludes to the capacity to forestall network assaults by mimicking different characters. 3. Governance. During the liquidity pool posting technique on Thorchain, the resource with the biggest Rune assignment will be recorded first. 4. Incentives. Rune tokens are utilized to pay exchange charges and gas expenses and are dispersed as remunerations also. Thorchain Rune price growth from 2019 to 2020. In July 2019, the underlying cost of Rune when it entered the market was around $0.02. During the initial not many months, no huge increase was seen, and the cost dipped under $0.01 toward the finish of September. In October, the symbolic saw the main indication of bullish force and Rune cost topped at $0.13 in December 2019. This vertical energy was trailed by the retreat of the Rune and incentive for in excess of 60% to $0.05. Rune finished the year exchanging at $0.07, giving an arrival of around 325% since end-off. All through January 2020, Rune figured out how to rise and arrived at an all-time high of $0.14 in February. Later in March, the value dropped and Rune reached as far down as possible underneath $0.04 subsequent to falling in excess of 50%. Not long subsequently, the symbolic cost significantly increased again during the next month and combined for the month from that point onward, prior to ascending in late May. After 90 days, Rune figured out how to hit $1 interestingly and hit a high of $1.21 toward the finish of August. Subsequent to falling back to $0.32 in unstable September and October, the positive direction continued in November. Rune was worth $1.17 toward the year's end, addressing an increment of around 1.570% starting from the beginning of 2020. The additions stay in charge in mid-2021, concerning whenever Thorchain's market first cap outperformed $1 billion in February. Then, Rune again crested above $7 in March 2021. The anticipated cost of Thorchain Rune, as per Wallet Investor for 2022 says Rune could stretch around $7.87 in 1 year or less. In the interim, in no less than 5 years, the resource cost will arrive at $15.74. Thorchain Rune coin cost examination from priceprediction.net gauges that the typical cost of the crypto resource will be $11.92 in 2022, $17.83 in 2023, $25.40 in 2024, and $36.19 of every 2025. In 5 years' time, the typical cost might be $81.77. Ultimately, CryptoNews says that Rune could hit $6.29 by 2022. The site recommends that in the span of a year, the coin will be worth around $7.11. In 2025, the site predicts that the cost will surpass $7.63. Furthermore, on the off chance that you take a gander at the quantity of mass receptions, the cost of Thorchain is assessed to arrive at a limit of around $9.88 by 2025. One thing you really want to be aware of crypto cost expectations, particularly the more drawn-out term ones, is they are dependably precise. This is because of the development of resource costs in the market, which will in general vacillate. Likewise, forecasts are frequently made by calculations that can change whenever and don't consider all economic situations. So prior to effective money management, you to do your own examination actually must see the dangers and decide the venture methodology that you ought to pick. Is it too late to buy Thorchain Rune 2022? Through a few updates occurring in the organization, 2022 could be an extraordinary year for you to purchase and begin putting resources into Thorchain Rune. Revealing from the Nasdaq site, Thorchain designers referenced that in June, decentralized loaning and reserve fund stage, known as Thorfi, will be sent off, which ought to draw in extra interest. As of June 2022, Thorchain is positioned at 60th situation among the main 100 digital currency projects by market cap, as indicated by CoinMarketCap. Thorchain Rune price history in 2021. In April 2021, the value kept on flooding toward the month's end and towards $18. One more huge pullback was trailed by additional increases that took Rune to an all-time high of United States $22.14 on May 18. Around then, Thorchain's market capitalization was near $5 billion. Rune's ascent was trailed by a decay the following day, and Thorchain's crypto resource lost the greater part of its worth. Rune value dropped to a low of not exactly $6 a couple of days after the fact. At the hour of compassing starting around 21 June, the ongoing Thorchain Rune to United States dollars cost is $1.91319. Who are the founders of Thorchain? As indicated by an authority illustrative of Thorchain, the stage has no CEO, no organizer and no chiefs. All things being equal, the further improvement of the convention is coordinated through GitLab with hubs as a definitive deciders of which codebase to run. Those presently chipping away at the task are to a great extent mysterious. Once more, an authority illustrative of Thorchain states that this is to safeguard the undertaking and guarantee that it can decentralize. A tweet by the task reveals some insight into the hypothesis behind keeping a venture with a mysterious group, as cited underneath. Developers work for the nodes by transportation code that makes the framework more important. Nodes work for the liquidity suppliers by getting resources and being on the web. Liquidity suppliers bring capital, put on market for the swappers and